Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors and respect to the beloved elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. And likewise the elder bishops, Elder Akim, that post lessons that have built me up. Peace and salutations to you. And shalom to all the hopeful elect Akim out there laboring by pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. This is your brother Nahar, out here from the Hebrew Israelites of Idaho camp. And this is not going to be a too long a lesson at all. I just had a meeting Wednesday, actually, with the company that I work for. And what I do, and if you brothers ever watched a few of my lessons, I speak on it every once in a while, but I work in housing and in construction. And I like to do these housing market updates because that's obviously my trade. And I am in some of these meetings that they talk about things that are going on throughout the state. So the city of Kuna, Idaho, is one of the cities that I'm building for the company I work for a subdivision in. And for the month of March, and this is just for the city of Kuna. And at one point during 2020, it was one of the fastest growing cities in the nation for the amount of building permits that were being submitted to be able to start housing construction. And the meeting that we had on Wednesday, the owner of the company was talking with the city hall and the building, the planning and zoning people at the city hall. And they told him that for the month of March, I have it written down. Yeah, so for the month of March, I wrote it down during the meeting, there was 130 new building permits that were being requested to start construction. So that's for the month of March. Going all the way down to last month, the month of September. For the month of September, the amount of building permits that were pulled to submit for new home construction was 24. So it went from 130 requested permits to start homes all the way down to 24. So what that is a very good indicator on the type of economy that we're in right now, and the amount of stress that not just the average everyday Schmo Joe, blue collar worker, white collar workers working, but also these builders and investors are penny pinching, because everyone's looking at the way the world is right now, what's going on in Ukraine, Putin, energy crisis. Across the board, we've been dealing with material shortages just like everybody else, and mainly I other than food, in construction building materials, because a lot of these materials like copper, electrical conduits for the furnaces, AC units, HVAC units that's your furnace that every house has to have, an AC that every house has to have, water heaters, etc. A lot of that stuff comes from China. Not the majority of that stuff isn't manufactured completely here in the United States. They got parts from here, parts from there. And so what it did is it started delaying a lot of the closings in some of these houses, because to be able to close a house, you have to be able to get a final, what's called a C of O. It's called a certificate of occupancy, and that's the final inspection that you're going to get before you can close and sell the house. And so a lot of these houses have been sitting past their completion dates. And so when you pass your completion date on a building schedule, you have to pay interest every single day on that house alone that's delayed. And for our houses, for an average single family home, and this is lowballing it, for an average single family home, for every single day, not just the weekdays, every single day, weekends included, that a house goes past its building completion date, you have to pay $175. And that's kind of where the pressure that I get from my job, and telling me like, oh, you got to meet your schedules, you got to do this, you got to do that. That's the pressure that I feel. But I'm just bringing this lesson out because I wanted to, point out the fact that, that the effects of the economy are, hitting closer and closer to home. Not just for me, but for, I know a lot of brothers that may be in the trades or doing anything similar to that. So you have to really understand that this stuff is happening right now, not in a few months, not in a couple years. It's happening right now, every single day, getting worse and worse. the Federal Reserve just had a closed meeting. The Federal Reserve Bank, bigwigs had a closed door meeting, and who knows what they're talking about in there. But we understand that all roads lead to the C hip, to the M, to the M, to the O, to the T, to the B. So like I said, I just wanted to put that information out there. I'm going to close the lesson out with the scriptures that I had prepared. And like I said, I didn't want to make this long at all. I just wanted to get that information out there because I do housing update videos every once in a while. So I'm going to pull over here and grab these two scriptures. I just got to my other subdivision. And I have a subdivision that I'm working for in Kuna, and then 15 minutes away there's another city called Nampa, Idaho. And I am curious to see what the comparison of building permits pulled and building permits requested based on the month of March and all the way till September. So if I do get access to that information, I'll probably do a little quick hitter on it. But the scriptures that I had planned for this one is, the first one is Ecclesiastes 12:3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. The point of that scripture that I wanted to get is the grinders cease because they are few. And we understand that that's also going into, the amount of mass deaths that's going to happen, mainly because a lot of people have taken that, and then also just for the fact that the grinding cease and no work being done in Egypt, because of the state of the economy, and that's something that the elders and apostles on down have been warning us of, what's going to be coming and what's a sign of the times of the birth pains of this place finally, letting loose. So, that's something to look forward to, because really, man, soon enough, none of us are going to be working. And if you remember anything close to the '08 crash, there was people that had, college degrees that have been working for a company for, almost a decade, getting laid off, So, and I remember that just because, my mom was working for a company for years and years and years. She was like up there too, and then the '08 thing happened, and she was looking for like any and everything that she could do, and she was getting responses back from jobs saying, "Oh, you're overqualified for this job," type thing. So a lot of that's happening again, but stay strong, keep the faith, because no matter what, Yahweh Shem Shai is going to take care of us. We're going to be all right. This is the next one that I had. This is Isaiah 19:15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or the tail, branch or rush may do. And that's going into, across the board, which the head or the tail, livestock, could talk about the beginning or the end, branch or rush, going into, planting and going into agricultural things. So livestock, agricultural, or building, it may do. And I did look up that verse in the NLT just to get a little bit better clarification. But the point is that first sentence, neither shall there be any work for Egypt. And we understand that Egypt is what? A place of bondage. So if you don't even have any work whatsoever, that's the times we're coming into. So like I said, I didn't want to make this too long. I just wanted to put that information out there. Those building permits went for the month of March, again, 130 building permits submitted. And fast forward it, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, almost a half a year later, and only 24 building permits were submitted for new home construction. So, the things that you're seeing in the news is affecting everybody, even up here in, Idaho. So, and again, at one point we were the fastest growing state population wise and building wise in the nation. In the top 5 for like the past almost 6 years almost. So, with that being said, I'm going to end this lesson now. Abba Ratazah, this information was helpful to any of those brothers that may be interested in, like the housing market, stuff like that. If it affects them, or if they're dealing with similar things in their state. So, with that being said, I'd like to close this lesson by the same way I started it, by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakdash, and double honors to the beloved elders and apostles at Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to all you hopeful Lektakim out there laboring by pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. That being said, this is Brother Nahar out here from the Hebrew Israelites of Idaho camp, signing off saying DTA and Abad Babal. Soon. Shalom.